you look at this coronavirus time, guess what they got everybody to do? Stay at home, which means if you're going to stay at home, you need a home, which is property.
Exactly. And also the fact that the government relies so heavily on a moving market that's in construction. If construction falters, the economy of Australia is impacted.
Correct.
At such a massive proportion that they've got to keep reinvesting in airports and in infrastructure. So that's one of like I said before, I'm not by any means a savvy investor. I'm just watching what the government's doing. So for me, if they're putting up an airport with train stations and they want to boot, and obviously there's roads, there's schools, there's parks. Now, exactly when they redevelop like an estate, the planning that goes in, like they're thinking, like when I was on Hurstville, when they were building that suburb, they weren't thinking about where to put a park or what the family wants, and putting all these little extra pieces that makes living out here a lot better than in my perspective, than on the other side of Sydney at a dollar value. So obviously, if you are looking to invest, or you're looking to buy a property and get out of the rental market, obviously speak with Zaki, but the audience that's listening that are interested in or looking at getting a property, what would be some of your tips to sort of help them go from renting? You did a video on this, and I will share it in the description. But just before you go into that, one of the things that I had to do when I was living on my own from 20 was cut out crap. Stop spending money on dumb crap. Do I need a car? I didn't get a car till I was 30, Zaki. I put everything into the business and everything into my into my housing, right? So housing business is where I've sunk all my money in. But before I could buy my first house, I didn't go out with my mates. I didn't go out to clubs. I haven't done anything. And actually, now that I can actually do more stuff, I feel like I don't really want to. I just want to spend time with my family. So I missed out on that 20s era of like going out and spending money to just like, I got to get my house. I think it also comes down to that, my parents being migrants as well, and that whole, the importance of like owning the property, that was sort of entrenched in my mind. Don't rent, go buy. You need to have a solid foundation in your life. So I felt like while I was renting, I was scared. I was, even though it's like nothing's guaranteed, nothing's promised, but owning a property versus renting, for someone like me, that I feel I need to feel like I'm in control of what's happening around me as best as I can. For me, it was just stop. Even if you're $50 ahead every week, it's better than spending that $50 on a movie or some dumb crap, or that other car you don't need, or perhaps even buying a house with 4 bedrooms and you don't need 4 bedrooms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're the expert.
Yeah, look, it's all about ROI, right? That's how people have to look at their life. They have to look at business. If they're in business the same way, they've got to look at investments the same way, and then they've got to look at their own personal life. That they need to treat their own personal life as a business,
Mm-hmm.
you know, which is, what is your return on investment for everything you do? Because the only thing we've got is time, not money. All we've got is 24 hours a day, and we got to work, we sleep, and then you've got time, and it's what you do in those hours. And one of my old mentors, she said, the beggar and the rich person, they both have 24 hours a day, but what makes the key difference is what they do with those hours, and it's like me saying yes to this call is because I go, well, if I spend, 45 minutes with you, Andrew, I'm doing good to you, you're doing great to me, we're going to do great for other people, I go, yes. But if it's going to be 45 minutes, with somebody else, that's going to be pointless. Most 100% I'd say no, unless it's my downtime. And my downtime is also extremely systemized, because you've got to treat your life as a business, because you are your biggest asset or liability. And so when it comes to renting or owning or buying a car, you've just got to ask yourself, what is the return on this? What am I going to get? There is instant gratification, which is like, wow, look at this new Honda or Ferrari, whatever you're going to get. And then what? Guess what? Nobody cares. True?
True, my man.
I live in Dubai, and you know what? It doesn't matter what car you've got. Somebody else got a jet or a bigger yacht or bigger whatever. You're never going to be the biggest anyway. And it's probably a good thing. Maybe your partying and stuff maybe didn't happen, because you're probably going to be a bit more sensible with maturity on how you spend your money. And you probably have more money to enjoy life with anyway. So I guess just like yourself, I'm not saying if anybody is going to buy or enjoy life in their 20s, that's great. It's about making a decision saying, hey, if I keep doing this continuously, what chances are I'm going to get out or get anything different?
Yeah.
And this superannuation scheme that came out where people were able to get $10,000 out of superannuation or $20,000 in total because of the COVID, 355,000 requests were made to the Australian Tax Office in the first 3 days of July just to take the $10,000 out. And you've got to think, you know, and I speak to some of these people and I know they haven't been impacted. You know, they haven't been impacted by anything and they just wanted the money, you know, for the sake of it. And guess what? Then we've read the other side where people have gone and got plastic surgery done with the money and gone shopping and done all that, which is great for the economy because that's exactly what the government wanted, right? To keep Australia and the economy going. But sometimes you've got to think, well, what about you? Could I have taken that $10,000 and bought a piece of real estate? I mean, think about what I said. 11 years or 12 years ago, I started with $10,000 and I ended up buying 15 houses. They're worth $3.5 million back then. The same 10,000, and there's people take 355,000 people in the first 72 hours took $10,000 out.
Just spend it on some, yeah.
And I know they didn't buy real estate. I'm sure of that because they wouldn't have done it that way. So it's for the viewers that are watching that are gonna go, you know what? That if I keep doing this every day, what am I going to get any different? You know, you've got to, you should enjoy life. I'm not saying you should just buy 100 houses and just die, but it's that fine balance going, you know, where can I get maximum return, minimize the risk, and also enjoy life at the same time.
Awesome, my man. Well, I can just, mate, if you want to spend the next 5 hours talking about this, I can go for another 5 hours, man. Awesome. So I'm going to give you the final talk on it. Did you have any? I can actually send you over like what you've done, just so you get some value. You've been producing videos on YouTube, which is awesome. Just so you get some value, I would love to see you sort of producing videos around like I can give you the questions, how do I invest in Australian property, what's the best sort of properties to invest in. I'll give you some of these suggestions because I want to thank you for your time. But one of my favorite strategies that I tell everybody is when you are producing content on YouTube, try to embed, like, let's say you do a video on, because YouTube is obviously a longer form than Instagram and Facebook. Instagram and Facebook is a quick 2 to 3 minute video, quick hit, right? There's a lot of videos on YouTube that are like that. But I think for yourself, if you, let's say you create an article on your blog about how do I invest in Australian property, or how do I, whoever your big target market is, they're asking a lot of questions on Google. So let's say, how do I buy my first home? That's always going to be a hot topic, right? So you could write that article, you could talk about it in about 1,000 words, 2,000 words, show images, show the Australian, the Sydney geographical layout, the airport. You could do like a 10-minute video on YouTube where you basically just even relay even half of what you said back to me, or even expand on it. And then you put that article, that video that you just dumped on YouTube into that article, because Google owns YouTube. So when someone types in anything about buying a first home in property into Google, there's 3 ways you could come up. That actual web article now that people are searching for on Google. So obviously that page, that blog post that you've created can pop up. You can also see images within Google image search, because now you put images around the context of property investment in the Sydney area. Thirdly, you might even start seeing this. You can see videos popping up on Google search results. So then they can see DDP property YouTube videos, and you will pop up, or your company's videos. So when you merge the video into the articles, Google understands a wider context of what that is and gives you more real estate, right? Excuse the pun, digital real estate, to get your assets and your content found. Google owns YouTube, so it's always going to favor YouTube over any other video platform, obviously. And I would treat YouTube content to some respect in the same way as I would treat blogging content for SEO.
Understood. Got it. Yeah, got it.
All right. So I want to give you that as a gift. It's a bit of advice. I think the more you keep talking about your story, about the migrant story, because people are going to relate to that and think, well, crap, if he can do it, surely I can do it. I think that's a very powerful story. So I would definitely double down on that, and ask people within the industry to link to your content. So the more content you put out, that you went into so many awesome facts. So producing content around that and asking people within the property market, property industry, your contacts, your friends, anyone that's related to link to your website will be a great way to build your awareness on Google. Make sense?
Thanks, Andrew. Thank you. Yeah, and I just want to touch, I know we spoke a lot about Sydney, but our clients invest in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Adelaide.
Sure.
So, yeah, so there's a lot to talk about, but in terms of a company, we just don't take care of clients in Sydney. It's
sure
that's the right investment or property that's suited for their needs. Yeah,
awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Zaki. Did you want to close off with any final thoughts, and then we can end the podcast?
Well, when there's a lot of uncertainty, that's a great time to be going in. And so there's a lot of uncertainty right now, and it's the best time to be buying property, because you're going to look back in 10 years and go, that's exactly right. Because I started in 2008 after the financial crisis, and I look back and I went, wow, that was a great time to be buying. So
awesome.
I think the coronavirus is a great opportunity.
It is. And I think that's where I think investment full stop is normally from what I read, the sort of the rich people make money on the,
right,
in the down market, when the market's on the downturn, and then, reap big rewards when it's inevitably going to go back up.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me, Zaki. Let's do it again soon.
Thanks, Andrew. Thank you.